Weakness in Asian equity markets? Watch on to see how and why Asia is on a steady retreat this month and learn how to gain a leverage exposure via warrants. This is Darren from Macquarie Warrants, here to share with you the market action we saw in the month and what warrant investors can look out for in the coming weeks. In Singapore, the city-state's outperforming rally in 2021 fizzled out as April ended. With the nation tightening its social restrictions, stocks across the board tumbled on potential implications on the economy despite improved company earnings in the first quarter. Besides, spiking inflation figures in the US dealt a second blow, as the rise in consumer price index and producer price index sparked fear of an earlier than expected rise in interest rates in the US. Despite the local bank's stellar earnings performances and strong outlooks, downbeat sentiment squeezed the market as the Straits Times Index skied at 5% in the first 2 weeks of May, after gaining 13% in 2021 as of end April. Amidst weakness in the markets, investors may consider put warrants to potentially profit from the decline in prices, or capture potential rebounds using call warrants. So, what are warrants? Call warrants move in line with the underlying they follow, meaning if the underlying stock or index went up, so will the call warrants. Put warrants move inversely from the underlying and will increase in price when the underlying stock or index falls. Recapping on the warrants' performances from the 5% decline in the STI since 30th April, the STI put warrant PCEW jumped 22% in 2 weeks, while the STI call LZTW slid 39%. So how do you know how much more a warrant will move given a move in the underlying price in the short term? For that, investors can refer to the effective gearing level as an indication. Say if a warrant had effective gearing of 10 times, it means the warrant will move around 10% for every 1% move in underlying share or index it tracks. The gearing effect is one of the reasons that make warrants popular, but notes that gearing can work both ways, meaning warrants will also move in a bigger magnitude or percentage than the percentage move in the underlying should you get your view wrong. Meanwhile, Hong Kong tech stocks continued their descent as investors sold on overpriced valuations and US-China tensions. Besides, Alibaba reported a loss for the first quarter of 2021, which was the firm's first deficit since 2012. Alibaba's lackluster performance raised concerns of the ramifications of China's crackdown on tech giants, which dragged the Hang Seng TECH index down to its lowest level since mid-November. Weaknesses in Asian markets pulled to undermine confidence in growth stocks within the technology sector, as the Hang Seng TECH Index futures fell 9% in May. Investors can monitor such broad sector moves via the Hang Seng TECH, which comprises of Asia's leading tech giants. Investors should also note that Macquarie's Hang Seng TECH warrants track the futures price and not the cash index. From the 9% drop in the Hang Seng TECH May futures, the Hang Seng TECH put V6EW gained 50%, while the Hang Seng TECH call 9LMW fell 73%. Investors can gain leverage exposure to the volatile Chinese tech sector via warrants. Due to the Hang Seng TECH's higher volatility, the short and medium-term trends are likely to be larger and potentially present more trading opportunities. Keen to try trading Macquarie's Hang Seng TECH warrants? Don't miss out on Macquarie Warrants' latest promotion, where you can receive brokerage savings of up to $300. Find out more about Asia's leading tech index and how to qualify for the brokerage savings by clicking the link in the description below. To estimate how much you should be investing into warrants, you can also use effective gearing as a guide. As an example, for a shareholder with $100,000 worth of XYZ shares in the portfolio and wishes to hedge against a short-term downward move in the shares, can consider put warrant. If this put warrant has a 10 times gearing, the shareholder needs only to invest into the put warrant an amount that is 10 times less than his shares exposure of $100,000. That is, the XYZ shareholder can buy $10,000 worth of this put warrant. For further details on trading warrants and to find out if you're qualified to trade warrants, click on the link in the description or feel free to contact us at our warrant hotline. Lastly, don't miss out on the next video and exciting warrant news by scanning on the QR codes and subscribe to our channels on YouTube, Telegram and Facebook.